I can't say much yet, but, I need to say that this experience has just been amazing, an amazing journey. And the best part of it is that I get to take all of you on my journey. So I want to just thank you all for the tremendous support. It really means a lot.
Roberta Battaglia, the little girl with the voice that could silence an entire crowd. When she first stepped onto the America's Got Talent stage in 2020, barely 10 years old, few could have predicted that this shy, soft-spoken Canadian would deliver one of the most unforgettable performances in the show's history. Her rendition of Lady Gaga's Shallow brought Simon Cowell to his feet and earned her the golden buzzer, a moment that changed her life forever. But as the confetti fell and the world watched in awe, no one knew the emotional storm that followed. Behind her radiant smile was a child suddenly thrust into fame, balancing global attention with the innocence of youth. Overnight, Roberta became a household name. Interviews, cameras, and social media lights all focused on her. Yet, after AGT ended, something unexpected happened. She seemed to vanish from the spotlight. Fans searched for updates, wondering what became of the girl with the golden voice. Had fame taken its toll? Was she struggling behind the scenes, or had she chosen a quieter path away from Hollywood's noise? What truly happened to Roberta Battaglia after America's Got Talent is a story of strength, maturity, and courage, one that reveals the reality behind child stardom, and how a young girl learned to protect her gift while rediscovering herself beyond the fame. When Roberta Battaglia walked onto the America's Got Talent stage, she carried nothing but a dream, a microphone, and the quiet hope that her voice would be enough. Born and raised in Toronto, Canada, Roberta grew up surrounded by music. Her father, Alessandro Battaglia, was a musician himself, often performing with her at small local events. Music wasn't just entertainment in their home, it was part of their family's heartbeat. Even before she could read, Roberta was singing. By the age of 6, she was performing publicly, her tiny frame holding a voice so powerful it left audiences in awe. But America's Got Talent was a stage unlike any other. When Roberta auditioned in 2020, the world was just beginning to face an uncertain time, and her voice became a light of hope for millions watching from home. Nervous yet determined, she chose a song that few adults could pull off, Shallow by Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper. The moment she began to sing, the atmosphere in the room shifted. Her tone was pure, emotional, and effortlessly controlled. Simon Cowell's eyebrows lifted. Sofia Vergara leaned forward, visibly stunned. And by the time she hit the song's soaring high note, the crowd erupted in applause. Then came that unforgettable moment. Simon Cowell pressed the golden buzzer. Confetti filled the air, tears streamed down Roberta's cheeks, and her mother stood off stage, overwhelmed with emotion. In that single moment, a young girl's life changed forever. The clip of her performance went viral overnight, gathering millions of views within days. Fans across the world called her the next Celine Dion. Others compared her to Jackie Evancho or young Christina Aguilera. Yet behind that moment of triumph was a world of adjustment. Roberta was only 10, juggling schoolwork, media interviews, and a sudden wave of fame that few adults could handle. Her humility shone through it all. In every interview, she spoke about kindness, gratitude, and how she wanted to use her voice to make people happy. She wasn't chasing stardom, she was chasing joy. As the competition progressed, Roberta continued to impress the judges and fans alike. Each round showcased more control, emotion, and maturity in her voice. When she sang Lauren Daigle's You Say, the performance touched a deeper chord. It wasn't just her vocals, it was her sincerity, her ability to connect with emotion beyond her age. Even Simon, known for his brutal honesty, couldn't hide his admiration. But being a child performer on such a massive platform wasn't easy. Between rehearsals, production schedules, and public attention, Roberta faced the immense pressure of performing flawlessly every time. Social media magnified every move. Praise came quickly, but criticism came just as fast. Her parents shielded her as best they could, reminding her that music should always be about passion, not perfection. When the finale arrived, Roberta delivered another breathtaking performance. proving that her golden buzzer moment was no accident. Although she didn't take home the first-place trophy, finishing in the top 4, she left the stage as a winner in every sense. For millions, she had already won hearts around the world. As the season ended, Roberta returned to Canada a hero. She was celebrated, interviewed, and admired. Schools invited her for performances, and local communities honored her achievements. But behind the scenes, Roberta's story was only beginning. Fame had opened doors, but it also brought choices. Should she chase the Hollywood spotlight or protect her childhood and grow at her own pace? Few could have predicted that the young girl who dazzled the world would soon make a surprising decision, one that would take her far from the flashing lights of AGT into a quieter, more personal journey that would redefine her entire future. When the cameras stopped rolling and the stage lights dimmed, Roberta Battaglia found herself in a strange silence, a kind of quiet she hadn't experienced in months. The whirlwind of America's Got Talent was over. No more bright studio lights, no more camera crews, no more confetti falling from the ceiling. For the first time since her golden buzzer moment, life slowed down. Returning home to Toronto felt both comforting and confusing. On one hand, she was back in her own room, with her family, her friends, and her familiar routines. On the other hand, she was no longer the same little girl. The world had seen her, celebrated her, and expected more. She was now Roberta Battaglia from America's Got Talent, a name millions recognized. But behind it stood a young teenager still, learning who she wanted to be. The weeks following the show were filled with media requests, interviews, and event invitations. She performed at virtual concerts and charity galas, even during the global pandemic that followed her AGT season. Her grace under pressure impressed everyone. But as 2021 approached, Roberta began to realize something few fans understood, that fame at such a young age comes with its own heavy weight. While many child stars rushed to sign record deals or move to Los Angeles, Roberta and her parents made a different choice. They decided to protect her peace. Her family believed that her voice was still growing, that she needed time to mature both musically and emotionally. Instead of chasing the next big TV appearance, Roberta focused on her education and her craft. She took vocal lessons, studied songwriting, and began to explore her own sound beyond cover songs. That decision surprised many in the entertainment world. Producers wanted her to ride the AGT momentum, to release an album quickly and capitalize on her fame. But Roberta refused to rush. She understood that instant fame could fade just as fast. "I don't just want to be remembered for one performance," she said in a 2021 interview. "I want to be an artist who grows and stays true to herself." Her words reflected wisdom far beyond her years. In the months that followed, Roberta began posting small glimpses of her journey online. On Instagram and YouTube, she shared snippets of songs, piano sessions, and short covers recorded from her home. Each video revealed a more mature tone in her voice, richer, deeper, filled with emotion. She also used her platform to speak about kindness, confidence, and dealing with bullying. As someone who had faced online negativity after AGT, Roberta turned her experience into encouragement for others. She was growing, quietly but purposefully. By 2022, Roberta had started performing again, not on massive TV stages, but at intimate local events, music festivals, and charity shows in Canada. Fans who saw her live described her presence as magnetic and her performances as soulful and raw. Her single, Truce, became a symbol of her transition, a song about self-acceptance and finding peace amid chaos. It wasn't about competition or fame anymore. It was about healing and authenticity. Through this period, she also spent time connecting with young musicians and mentors in Toronto's music scene. She collaborated with producers who valued artistry over image. Behind every song she recorded was intention. Roberta wanted her music to mean something. Her social media presence remained modest, far from the extravagant lifestyle often associated with child stars. No controversy, no headlines, just a steady evolution of a young woman coming into her own. Fans who followed her noticed how grounded she remained, crediting her close relationship with her parents for keeping her balanced. Still, there were moments of doubt. In interviews, Roberta admitted that growing up under public attention wasn't always easy. "Sometimes people expect you to always be perfect," she said. "But I'm still learning, still becoming who I'm supposed to be." And that honesty resonated deeply. By the end of 2023, Roberta Battaglia had achieved something rare. She had transformed her early fame into a foundation for long-term artistry. While other child prodigies struggled with the weight of early success, Roberta found freedom in patience. She wasn't disappearing. She was quietly building something real. But just when fans began to wonder if she would ever return to the global spotlight, Roberta started preparing for her most exciting chapter yet, one that would redefine her as not just a singer, but a true artist with her own voice and vision. By the time Roberta Battaglia entered her mid-teens, she had already experienced what most artists only dream of: standing ovations, global recognition, and a moment of pure magic that few ever forget. But fame was never her final destination. What she truly wanted was something much deeper: to find her own voice, not the one molded by expectations, but the one born from her soul. After the whirlwind years following America's Got Talent, Roberta began to evolve, musically, emotionally, and personally. She was no longer the 10-year-old girl in front of Simon Cowell. She was a young woman learning to express herself through songwriting and storytelling. She spent hours in her room experimenting with melodies on her keyboard, writing lyrics about growing up, friendship, and identity. It wasn't just about hitting perfect notes anymore. It was about speaking her truth. By 2023, Roberta's voice had matured dramatically. Her once crystalline tone had grown warmer, richer, layered with emotion that could only come from lived experience. When she released her single First Love, fans immediately noticed the transformation. The song wasn't just another pop tune, it was a statement. It showed the world that Roberta was stepping into her own sound, blending elements of pop, R&B, and soul. The lyrics reflected a vulnerability that audiences connected with, and the maturity of her voice stunned even longtime fans. Behind the scenes, Roberta was working tirelessly. She collaborated with Canadian producers and vocal coaches to craft a sound that felt authentically hers. She avoided the temptation of becoming a manufactured artist, rejecting offers that didn't align with her values. Instead, she built a small but loyal creative circle that believed in her message. Every note she sang carried intention, and every lyric told a piece of her truth. Away from the music, Roberta also grew into an inspiring public figure. She began using her platform to advocate for mental health awareness and anti-bullying campaigns, causes deeply personal to her. Having faced cruel online comments as a child, she decided to turn pain into purpose. Her social media wasn't about glamour, it was about gratitude. She often shared messages reminding her followers to believe in their own voice, echoing the same advice she once received from her parents. The interviews with Roberta during this time revealed just how grounded she had become. She spoke with clarity and humility, acknowledging how fame had shaped her, but also how she refused to let it define her. "The world saw me as a child star," she said in one interview, "but I want them to see me as an artist who grew, learned, and kept going." Her performances during 2024 reflected that growth. On stage, she was no longer the shy girl clutching the microphone with trembling hands. She stood with poise, confidence, and a maturity that captivated audiences. Fans described her presence as peaceful yet powerful. She performed both new originals and stripped-down renditions of classics, often dedicating songs to people who inspired her journey. Each note carried raw emotion, proof that her artistry wasn't built on fame. It was built on honesty. One of the most remarkable things about Roberta's evolution was her ability to balance normal life with her career. Despite her growing success, she continued her studies, valuing education as much as music. Her family remained her anchor, attending her performances, guiding her career decisions, and ensuring she never lost herself in the entertainment whirlwind. By late 2024, whispers began circulating in the music community that Roberta was working on her debut full-length album, a collection of songs entirely written or co-written by her. Insiders described the project as deeply personal, exploring themes of resilience, love, and self-discovery. For Roberta, this wasn't just another milestone. It was a reflection of everything she'd endured, learned, and become. Her creative process became her healing process. The once timid child who sang shallow in front of millions was now an artist crafting music that spoke of depth and growth. She wasn't chasing viral fame anymore. She was chasing authenticity and finding it with every chord, every lyric, every heartfelt performance. For those who had followed her journey from that fateful golden buzzer moment, it was heartwarming to see her transformation. Roberta Battaglia was no longer just the girl from AGT. She was a voice of her generation, quiet but powerful, graceful yet unshakably strong, and as 2025 approached, one thing became clear. Her best chapter was only just beginning. As Roberta Battaglia entered 2025, her journey had come full circle. From a child who once trembled under the bright lights of America's Got Talent to a young woman whose confidence now shone from within. The fame that once felt overwhelming had transformed into something far more meaningful. She was no longer living in the shadow of that golden buzzer moment. She was building her own light, one song at a time. Roberta's musical evolution became a quiet revolution of its own. The world had seen so many child stars rise and fade, swallowed by pressure, fame, or misdirection. But Roberta's story was different. She chose endurance over explosion, patience over speed. In an industry obsessed with trends and algorithms, she built her career on authenticity and truth. Her voice wasn't just beautiful. It carried experience, resilience, and emotional honesty. By early 2025, Roberta had begun performing at major cultural festivals and live music venues across North America. Her performances felt intimate, even when the crowd was massive. Whether singing her own songs or delivering soulful covers, she had the rare ability to make every listener feel like she was singing directly to them. Fans who had followed her since AGT often remarked on how she seemed wiser beyond her years, still humble, still kind, but now glowing with purpose. Her long-awaited debut album was finally nearing release, a collection of heartfelt songs that blended pop, soul, and contemporary R&B, all tied together by her signature emotional storytelling. In interviews, she described it as a diary in sound. The songs explored themes of self-worth, love, faith, and hope, reflections of everything she had learned since her early fame. Each track was a glimpse into her growth, a reminder that her journey wasn't about escaping her past, but embracing it fully. Roberta also used her platform to empower others. She began mentoring young singers, holding workshops on confidence, stage presence, and emotional expression. She often reminded them that talent is nothing without heart. Her empathy became her legacy. She wasn't just performing anymore. She was giving back, passing the torch to the next generation of dreamers. Outside of music, Roberta remained deeply connected to her roots. She supported causes related to children's hospitals, anti-bullying organizations, and mental health awareness. Her humility made her stand out even more. She didn't crave fame. She valued connection. On social media, her posts weren't about luxury or image. They were filled with gratitude, laughter, and genuine positivity. Fans from around the world often commented how she felt real, a rare compliment in today's entertainment world. Those close to her often said that Roberta's strength came from her family. Her parents, who had guided her since day one, continued to be her compass. They had taught her that fame fades, but character remains. That wisdom kept her balanced through every high and low. When she returned to perform on special AGT reunion events, audiences noticed the difference instantly. The same voice that had stunned the judges years ago had now deepened with maturity. Her tone was richer, her control effortless, her stage presence radiant. Even Simon Cowell, known for his sharp words, couldn't hide his pride. "She's one of those rare voices that never leaves you," he said in an interview. Through the years, Roberta had proven something remarkable. That success isn't about being the loudest name in the room, but about lasting long enough for people to still remember your song when the applause ends. Her story became a quiet inspiration for young artists who feared fading after early fame. She showed that reinvention isn't a sign of failure. It's a sign of growth. Today, Roberta Battaglia stands as one of the brightest examples of what it means to rise with grace. She didn't let the fame define her, nor did she let the silence after the applause break her. She learned that the true power of music lies not in the spotlight, but in the moments when the lights go out and the heart keeps singing. As she continues her journey into adulthood, one thing is certain: the little girl with the golden voice never disappeared. She simply grew into a woman whose melody will echo far beyond the stage that first discovered her. And if her story proves anything, it's that real talent doesn't fade. It only grows stronger with time.